I thank you, Chairman, and welcome to the witnesses. Two questions for Mr. Jahn. First of all, welcome, your first hearing as the new president. We had a very good working relationship on a bipartisan basis with your predecessor, Mr. Dooley, and I want to recognize that and thank him for that. One of the areas in which we had a very good bipartisan workingship with Mr. Dooley was on TSCA reform, the chemical safety reform. And after the bill passed with strong bipartisan support and with your support and good work, your organization's support and good work, we then ran into administrative problems that I believe violated the bipartisan spirit of the legislation over at EPA. We think we have solved those problems. I have confidence in Alexandra Dunn, who is the new person over there. Can I ask your commitment that you and your organization will help support a fair and thorough administrative process to support TSCA in the same bipartisan spirit that the bill was passed?
So, Senator, I thank you for that warm welcome as the next victim here at ACC, and we look forward to working with you. I noticed that Senator Sullivan was here earlier. We're working together on
That's my next topic, so go ahead on
okay.
TSCA.
I don't want to steal your thunder. I apologize. So, yes, we will work. We commit to working with you to make sure that the amendments to TSCA that were passed in 2016 move forward in an appropriate manner, and absolutely very important for us as an industry.
I think it's important when you have bipartisan agreement on something to reward, encourage, and honor that bipartisan agreement by then not hopping over to the executive administration of that and trying to undo and cause damage and problems over there. So I don't think that the ACC has been involved in that. Okay. I think you've been helpful actually at trying to get through that, and I hope you'll continue. So thank you for that. So your second topic, of course, was another area where we've made significant bipartisan progress, and that is on the question of marine plastic waste, ocean plastic waste. It was with Cal Dooley and ACC's support that we were able to get the first Save Our Seas bill passed, which was a very minor piece of legislation in terms of its effect, but it established the proposition that the Senate and the Congress on a bipartisan basis were willing to legislate in this space. Wow. Something which was not then a proven proposition. So we proved that proposition and we focused on the worst offenders, which are the 5 Asian countries and the 10 foreign rivers that produce respectively 50% and nearly 90% of the ocean plastic waste. We then moved on and just recently in the Senate, again unanimously, passed Save Our Seas 2.0. Which still has to work its way through the House, and they have 7 committees that want a piece of it, and it takes a little bit of doing procedurally, but which I have a lot of confidence will actually get done. So Senator Sullivan, my friend and my colleague in these efforts, and I are already starting to put on our thinking caps and organize with our staffs what Save Our Seas 3.0 should look like. Because while 2.0 was real legislation that created a real difference, it's a huge problem. And it's one where I think we need more support from the industry. And I think there's more room for bipartisan and perhaps even unanimous progress on this issue. So I want to ask you your thoughts about a SOS 3.0. Do you believe there's more that needs to be done? Are you willing to support us in finding those things that can be done in a bipartisan and even unanimous fashion? And in that regard, let me just put into the record also the July 19th letter of welcome that Senator Sullivan and I wrote to you on this topic.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your leadership on this important issue. As you said, it's a significant global challenge, and you have our full commitment to work with you. I hope that you're correct. We'll be able to work through those 7 committees in the House. We'll get that bill done and have some meaningful change, and then we can move on to 3.0. As you know, and I know you
agree that 2.0 doesn't do the trick. There's more to be done. It was good, but not sufficient.
Absolutely, and you know, as you well know, and in regards to the Alliance to End Plastic Waste that our members have created in the past year and committed publicly private funds of $1.5 billion throughout the chemical supply chain to solve that issue. So we're putting real money behind this. We're dedicated to this proposition, and we will work with you to
We
go
look
forward.
forward to working with you. If I could note for the chairman, I went to the Our Oceans conference in Oslo as a congressional delegation of one, and it was a strong focus at that international conference on marine plastic. And Unilever, which is one of the biggest consumer products corporations in the world and which has a very, very significant footprint in the United States, pledged then that they were going to go to a point where for every ounce of plastic that they put into the economy through their products, they were going to extract the same amount of plastic from the environment and bring it back to proper disposal, which does two things. First of all, it makes them plastic waste neutral, which is a very important thing for a company. And second, it creates a market for the plastic waste that is out there and gives somebody some encouragement to find, now somebody who's picking that stuff up has a business model to go to Unilever and say, you're going to need to buy a lot of this stuff to honor that pledge. So for both of those reasons, I just wanted to call out Unilever as one of the international players in this for having made what I think was a particularly strong proposal. And of course, I support that kind of an effort. So thank you very much, Chairman.
Well, and I would...
And by the way, let me thank you, because a lot of this happened because of your support and leadership as chairman, and because of the support of our ranking member, who has been, if it weren't for the leadership of the chairman and the ranking member, none of this stuff gets done. So while I talk about Dan and we do a lot of this work together, I also want to make sure it's clear that
unanimous
all of you
support of the
two was
committee,
terrific.
everybody working together. I'd also point out, and you may have noted what Bill Gates had announced the other day, and I talked to him about it on Sunday, this program for Microsoft, which is very similar to what you just described with regard to Unilever and plastics, and he has said that about the carbon footprint that has been left by Microsoft, not going forward, but going back to the founding of the company in whatever, 1975. And to do it, he's making a huge investment in the technology that we have been working on for carbon capture and sequestration, and actually air capture of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere to then go to sequester or putting into products, the sorts of things that we looked at in Aberdeen, Scotland with the research laboratories there, trying to make those products commercially competitive. So it's not just in plastics that it's happening, it seems to be happening, and this may be a new model.
Yeah, and making sure that the market works in these areas is, I think, our top responsibility. Thank you.